All right, good morning, everyone. I'm going to get going here. All right, stocks in the U.S. Obviously traded lower last night, kind of with mixed performance from different sectors. We had the Philly Fed and leading indicators that missed expectations narrowly, but I think really important that that we've been able to see the last few days of selling in the U.S. We've been able to see the Asian markets rally or at least hold very firm that following night. So the fact that that's the kind of action that we're seeing after we're seeing reasonable sell-offs in the U.S. I think is really important and showing us a lot of strength in terms of global equity markets. Asian stocks obviously had a good night overnight. China was the first night we've seen a really good night out of China in a while, and that was a little bit because of the State Information Center's economic forecast said that China's economy may rebound in the second and third quarter. So I think that's where you got a little bit of a boost there. You can continue to see the yen that's starting to weaken out again, and it looks like it may push through 100 sooner rather than later. In corporate action front on the show, there's quite a lot today. We obviously had a lot of numbers yesterday afternoon. After the bell, we had Google, IBM, and Microsoft, three of the biggest names in tech. We had Google that actually had nice numbers. They missed small on the revenue numbers, but they had a big beat on the EPS. And you saw it trading up nicely after hours on the back of that. IBM was a bit of a shocker with a miss on both sides, and then Microsoft I think was a nice surprise with a beat on both sides. So mixed. Between the three of them, a little bit mixed. Today we've got Schlumberger, we've got General Electric, and we've got McDonald's. So a lot of more important earnings out this afternoon. I'd say so far between U.S. earnings, they've been mediocre to try to put it into a category. Today we've got a lot of stocks that are last day to trade. That's JD Group at 1 Rand 15, Old Mutual 5 Rand 83. That's sorry, it's 2 Rand 2 Rand
15 was a special. I think it's a special.
No man, that's Salem. It's 72 cents for Old Mutual. Sorry, I don't know where the 583 came from. I think that's £5 83 cents actually, or 5 pence, 5.83 pence. And then we've got Sanlam at 1 Rand 65, plus a 50 special. So we're looking at 2 Rand 15 out of Sanlam. And then we had trading statements, sales and revenue release this morning out of Anglo's, Kumba, and Amplat. Anglo's copper production up 1%, metallurgical coal was up 23%, which is a quarter one record. Kumba iron ore output was up 2%. Amplat's refined platinum production was up 9%, which I think is a little bit of a surprise maybe. And then they're going to have another set of talks, a deadline of the 30th of April to kind of go through those potential job cuts and things like that. I think it's really important to realize. Well, Amplatz did make one statement in that update saying that if their output returns to previous levels, that there'll be a surplus in the platinum sector. So that's not the most bullish thing out there, but we didn't have any real guidance to compare these numbers to, so just be careful today trading in those stocks. We could have some moves on the back of those numbers. Pretty much nothing on the economic activity list today. We've got the current account numbers in Euroland today, and that is literally it. So we'll jump into the maps here. Okay, first one I want to show is spot GLD. When I was looking at this morning, it would have held a little bit more weight, but I wanted to look at the 10-day, and I was looking at it this morning, and we were still holding below 1400 here, right at 1400. So we've managed to break up above 1400. You can see how important that is. We've really been in this little sideways consolidation range. And I was starting to get worried that we weren't going to be able to break up because, we'd had such a steep fall and we hadn't really managed to get a good bounce. So the fact that we've gotten above 1,400 this morning, I think is quite bullish for gold stocks. Some of them did kind of feel like yesterday they may be bottoming a little bit. Obviously we don't want to make a prediction that yesterday were the lows, but watch them closely today with the gold price breaking out here above 1,400. We may start to see a little bit of bottom picking and some of the gold counters this afternoon, later this morning. Okay, the next one I want to show is Nedbank. I wanted to show here looking at a year chart here, but we went into a pretty steep downtrend here, to be quite honest, from the highs in the middle of March. And yesterday was by far the best trading bank on the board. We managed to close up at 187, which is incredible. Most of the banks, I'll note as well, really felt like they turned yesterday. As the market actually started to feel its weakest, the banks really started to felt like they put in a bottom and started to push up even when the market's weak. So that little chart in Nedbank, I think, says a lot. If we break out above 188, you got to own this thing, I think. I really like the pattern if we get above 188. So watch that one closely. I think obviously the banks are going to pretty much run in a sector or run very closely as a sector, but watch that one in particular above 188. And if it does get above there, it could be a signal for some of the others. I'll also look at Bidvest here. You can see there on the 1 year how it's broken out. I'll just shorten it up to 30 day. 30 minute, and you can see here we've broken above this little downtrend in Bidvest, which is right there. I mean, 25 was really support. I think we got down there for kind of 1 day just below, and you can see how we've bounced right above it. I don't see any reason why this thing can't really retest recent highs. The way it's traded, it's actually traded quite well. I think that just sold off on the back of some of these buyout worries. All right. ShopRite. I want to say ShopRite as well. I mean, ShopRite's really been a dog for the last few sessions, where it's been a darling of the retail space for a few weeks now. Before this last week or two of trading, you can see there right around 168 is kind of last level of support in ShopRite. If we get below 168, I think it could get ugly for ShopRite. So this is something that's really important to keep an eye on today. If we get below 168 in ShopRite, it's not going to be pretty. And the retailers are just really lagged. I mean, you can have a look at your clicks. You can see there it's also starting to break down a little bit in a bit of a longer head and shoulders pattern. And we're continuing to break the new lows there. Just the whole sector has really been weak the last few days. So I think it's really important that it start to show some strength here. If we can't hold 168 on ShopRite, then I think it's actually probably worth a nibble on the short side below 168. All right, and the last one I'm going to show is Experian on the LSE, and show how we've broken down here below support. We've actually seen this pattern a hell of a lot lately, popping up on the LSE. Something to have a look at. Just below 11 and a quarter. We broke down there yesterday from the top of the range up near 1190. So I mean, we think we could see it as low as about 1060 out of this. So keep an eye on that in the next day or two. And that's it for today, guys. Thanks a lot.